Hey guys, how's it going? Hope you're all keeping well. Welcome back to my channel. If you're new to the channel, welcome. Hit that subscribe button and enjoy the content. Anyway, Summerslam 2025 is this weekend, the first two-night Summerslam in the history. So, as always, I will give my preview and predictions for the big events. So, I'm just going to go down the card here for night one, night two, and just talk about each match and give my predictions for who is possibly going to win or possibly what is going to happen in the outcome. So we'll start off on night one. So night one we got Tiffany Stratton versus Jade Cargill. Uh hasn't really been much build to this. Obviously, Tiffany just came off her match against Trish Stratus at Evolution. Uh, I'd be very surprised if the build up Jade, to lose here. So I think Jade is going to beat Tiffany and become the new champion. I don't think there would be any other. I mean, I could be wrong. Tiffany could win, but I think it's going to be Jade that wins. So we're going to have a new champion in that match. Moving on. This match apparently at the moment is up in the air because Drew McIntyre apparently is stuck in the UK, and apparently that is legit. So whether he can get back to the US, or I guess we'll find out more this Friday night on Smackdown about thing. Obviously, there was talk of maybe the Miz might replace him. Overall, I'm not really looking forward to this match at all. No disrespect to Jelly Roll, but I just think it's a waste of Orton and McIntyre and even Logan. For SummerSlam, that you could have had them. In a match for like a number one contenders for the WWE title. Like, you think that other people are missing SummerSlam currently. You've got LA Knight, Carmelo Hayes. Currently Bailey is missing out. It just seems wasted. You could have had Jelly Roll, perform at SummerSlam. Like a halftime thing. Because it's a 2 night thing. You could add and perform a song or something. I just, I think, whether it's Drew and Logan or whether it's a replacement for Drew, I think Orton and Jelly Roll are gonna win. Either way, I'd be very surprised if they have Jelly Roll uh, show up as the celebrity in a match and then have him lose. So I'm gonna go with Orton and Jelly Roll winning that match, whoever it's against. Uh, Next up is the Judgment Day versus Charlotte and Alexa. Um, this is a tough one to call because you'd think after putting Charlotte and Alexa together, and certainly Charlotte has uh, got a big pop from teaming with Alexa. Compared to, you go back to a few months ago where she was constantly getting booed by the crowd. She couldn't even cut a promo on the mic that the fans were totally booing her. Now, it's like a total 180, and the fans are chatting for her. They were chanting "We want Charlotte" at Evolution. And I think it has really helped her teaming with Alexa. I don't know whether it was because she was in a rivalry with Tiffany and the fans sided with Tiffany over her, or whether it's because she is out of the women's title picture and she's, focusing more on the tag team titles. At the moment, I suppose, obviously with the women's tag division, it is sort of cursed at the moment. Either people are picking up injuries or there's women getting released, so there's barely any teams. I did think that Liv and Raquel were doing a good job. Liv's obviously out for the foreseeable future. We don't know when. I know it'd be a little soon to take the title off Roxanne and Raquel because they've only just banded together. But I think if I'm looking at it as the original thing, if it had been Liv and Raquel versus Charlotte and Alexa, I think they would go with Charlotte and Alexa. So I'm going to say that even though Roxanne has just joined up with the Judgment Day and she's taken over from Liv, I think Charlotte and Alexa are going to beat Roxanne and Raquel, so I'm gonna say they win the titles. Next we have got Sami Zayn versus Karrion Kross. Stipulation: if Kross wins, Sami has to say the words "Kross was right." If Zayn wins, Kross must say "I was wrong." I like both wrestlers, but for this one, I am really hoping that Kross can finally get a push. Sami beat him in Saudi Arabia, and then Kross got a win back on Raw, so this is going to be like the rubber match. It feels like it's going to be going towards Sami to win at the end of the feud, but I really hope that Kross can finally get a push because it's just between his earlier run under Vince where he had the gladiator gear and everything, and then they finally got brought back, but then he's reduced to backstage segments. Now the crowd are with him every time he's on screen. There's a pop for him. So hopefully now that he's having matches on Raw and he's having matches on the pay-per-views or the PLEs, whatever they want to call it. Hopefully now he can get used more, and so I'm gonna go across to win this one. Hopefully, no disrespect to Sami. Let's see. Next we have got Roman and Jay versus Braun and Bronson. Again, this is a tough one to decide who wins because obviously Roman's just come back and he's going to be teaming with Jay, so you'd expect, because of SummerSlam, Roman's just returned, you'd expect them to win, but I'm just wondering if obviously with this new group, it's just got started. Seth is injured. Apparently, there's still, there is still, rumor or doubts. Is Seth actually injured, or is this just a plan to, cash in at some point where unsuspected? But I think he's injured, and at the moment this group, I think it needs a push. So I'm gonna go with Braun and Bronson to beat Roman and Jay. where that goes afterwards, because if you just bring Roman back and then they lose SummerSlam, I'm curious to see where that will go. Obviously, Bronson took his shoes on Raw. Uh, I just think if Roman and Jay win, it doesn't do much for this, group. They've lost Seth, so if they lose now at SummerSlam in their big match as a duo, I suppose. Where they go from there. So I'm gonna go with Braun and Bronson to win that one. And then the main event for night one is Gunther versus CM Punk. I don't know. I would love to see CM Punk win the title again. I just don't know. I think if Gunther lost the title at WrestleMania after tapping out to Jay, and then he got it back. He's just beat Goldberg at Saturday night's main event. Would he drop the title to CM Punk at SummerSlam? See, there's a lot of theories that Seth isn't injured and that he is going to cash in at the end of this match, whether it's during the match or it's after somebody wins. If Punk wins the title and then Seth shows up and cashes in, that'll just be a complete gut punch to CM Punk. But I'm still sticking with the theory that Seth is injured, and I'm gonna go with Gunther to retain. As much as I would love to see Punk win the title and have another run as world champion in WWE, I think Gunther retains. I just, I don't, I don't think that after tapping out to Jay at WrestleMania to lose the title, he's just got it back. He's just went through Goldberg and then he's going to lose to Punk at SummerSlam. I think he's going to hold on to the title for a little bit more. So yeah, I'm going to go with Gunther. So that's night one done. Let's see where we're night two. Night two. I'm going to start off with probably the match that is probably going to steal the show this weekend, and realistically I would have had this as the main event of night one. I know obviously you're going to have Gunther and CM Punk because it's the world title, but I would have had this as the main event. It's the 6-team TLC ladder match. For me at the moment, the tag division on SmackDown is probably one of, if not the biggest highlight of the show. Like every week, that division is absolutely killing it in the ring, whether it's DIY versus Street Profits, or it's Fraxium versus the Morrissey Machine Guns, or it's a triple threat match, or it's a fatal 4-way or whatever, or just a simple tag match. They are killing it in the ring, and this is going to be incredible. Like the fact that you've got so many teams in one match for a TLC match. And obviously, the original was at SummerSlam with the Dudleys, Edge and Christian, and the Hardys, and that was incredible. This one, you've got more teams in it. It's hard. It's hard to pick a winner from this one. Obviously, it's great seeing the Wyatt Six, on screen, and seeing them get a push. So let me just go through the teams here first. So we've got the Wyatts. So we've got Dexter Lumis and Joe Gacy from the Wyatts. You've got Andrade and Rey Fenix. I am a bit surprised that if they brought in Rey Fenix to have him as a tag team with Andrade when you have Penta there, but I do like the fact that at the moment they are keeping them separate. It's a bit like Undertaker and Kane in a way, that you have them, on separate shows, but there is the possibility of them eventually teaming up with each other. But at the moment, you've got Penta on Raw doing his own thing, and Phoenix is now working with Andrade, so they've been doing well as a team. You've got DIY with Gargano and Ciampa, Fraxium, Motor City Machine Guns, and Street Profits. Street Profits, every time they're in a match, they absolutely kill it. Montez Ford, whether he's doing like the frog splash off the top rope or he's doing the somersault over the corner, like he is I think he's definitely destined to be a bigger star in the company going forward. I don't know, this is tough. I mean, you could say that possibly the Wyatts may retain because they have the extra numbers of Eric Rowan and Nikki Cross and Uncle Howdy, Bo Dallas. I'm gonna go with who I'd like to see win the match, and that is the Motor City Machine Guns. I'd like to see them have another run with the tag titles, so I'm gonna go with them. But all those teams in one match, it could go either way. So, but I'm gonna go with the Motor City Machine Guns for that one. All right. Next we have Becky Lynch versus Lyra Valkyrie. Becky wins. Lyra can no longer challenge for the title as long as Becky is champion. It always seems whenever you have that stipulation of this is your last chance, if you don't win it, then you can't have another shot as long as they're the champions, so they always end up winning it. I'm going to go with Becky retaining. Obviously, both Irish girls, so I don't have a favorite in the match. But I think for now, I think maybe Becky is going to retain the title, and then we'll see where she goes from there, whether she goes into a new feud for the title, and then you still have the whole grudge between Bayley and Lyra that could be, brought back. But I think Becky is going to retain. Next up, we have Solo Sikoa versus Jacob Fatu in a steel cage for the United States Championship. I think at the moment, now too, certainly the more inventive where you've got the cage match and the TLC match, and the street fight as well. I'd be very surprised if this is going to end up being just one-on-one. I assume at some point Solo's group will get involved. We might even see the return of, is it Tamatonga? Because we've got there's a Tonga lower, Tamatonga. I forget which one is back, but it's but I'm assuming that he might return and help Solo win the match. So I'm gonna go with Solo to retain against Jacob for that match. I think that'll be a very good match. I am assuming because Jacob is so fucking crazy, I would be very surprised if we do not see Jacob attempting his moonsault off the top of the cage. So that's that match. And next up we have got Naomi versus Rhea versus Io. I think this would be another great match if it is as good as the triple threat match at WrestleMania that had Bianca, Io, and Rio. I think it could be another show stealer. Realistically, I'd be happy to see any of the three win the match, but at the moment, hopefully they keep Naomi as champion. I think it's been a great job for Naomi to be pushed since she's returned to WWE. She's obviously had the whole angle with Jade and Bianca. She had she was tag champion with Bianca. Then she's won Money in the Bank, and now she's the world champion. So hopefully she can continue being a champion. Like, I don't know if because it's SummerSlam and because you have Rhea and Io in a match again, Rhea still hasn't beaten Io, so could there be a scenario of Rhea finally pins Io and wins the title? But I say I'd be happy for either of them to win the match, but hopefully Naomi does get the win and continues her run as the champion. So that leaves us with the main event, which is the street fight for the WWE title, which is John Cena versus Cody Rhodes. There's a lot of speculation on this match about what could happen or what might happen. There's talk of a double turn happening where Cody turns heel and Cena turns face. Because of SummerSlam, will The Rock show up again and get involved? I don't know. Again, if Seth isn't injured, could he show up in this match and cash in? He tried before, and John Cena stopped him because Punk was involved. So I don't know. I don't know. It's tough to think. I'm trying to think, because it's a street fight. I'm trying to think how they could turn Cody heel, because it's not like, if he, cheated to win, like he, used a weapon, or as Cena did, use the title to thing. It's it's legal in the match, so I don't know how they could do it. For me at the moment, I don't think they're going to turn Cody heel just yet. I think for now we're still we're still going to be on this run with Cena. I think the more that you keep the title off Cody, it could build up, because if he fails to beat Cena again, obviously it's going to build up more inside him to where he does, lash out and then finally, turns heel, whether he, whether he attacks Cena at some point or whether he attacks somebody else. Like, you could have Cody turn on Jay or Orton eventually. But we'll see. I'm going to go with Cena to retain. Again, because it's his final Summerslam, and I don't know where they go. Oh, actually, shit. Hold on, I've left out a match. I just had I've left out a match. I'm gonna go with Cena to retain that one in the main event, but I've left out a match here. Dominic Mysterio versus AJ Styles. I think AJ wins this one, and this is why. Cena, I think it's tied into Cena. Cena has never won the Intercontinental title, and I assume that at some point he and AJ Styles may have one more match, because it was Cena's final year in the WWE. He's had that feud with Styles in the past. Obviously, I don't think you're going to get Cena versus Edge. Everyone's always said, could we see Edge return towards the end of the year for Cena? But I think my theory is that AJ Styles will beat Dominic Mysterio and win the Intercontinental title, and then at some point, if Cena drops the WWE title, it could be at SummerSlam. But I'm guessing at some point, to finish off his run, that he may challenge AJ for the Intercontinental title at some point, whether it's like a Survivor Series or before that. But yeah, so I'm gonna go right. So let me just run down night 1, night 2, right? So night 1, Jade Cargill, Randy Orton and Jelly Roll, Charlotte and Alexa, Braun Breaker and Bronson Reed, Karrion Kross, and Gunther. So that's night 1. Night 2, I've gone for Motor City Machine Guns in the TLC match, Becky Lynch, Solo Sikoa to retain, AJ Styles to beat Dominic Mysterio. I'm going with Naomi to retain in the triple threat, and I'm going with John Cena to retain against Cody. We'll see how many I get right, but there could be so many twists and turns in these matches, especially the likes of the Gunther CM Punk match and the John Cena Cody match, because again, we don't know if Seth is 100% injured or if it is just a ploy and he's going to end up cashing in, but we'll see what happens. But anyway, that's my predictions. Hopefully it's going to be a great event. It's the first 2-night SummerSlam, I think, so we'll see if it's going to be as big as WrestleMania with doing the two-night show. Let me know your thoughts on those predictions, and give me your thoughts on the matches and any predictions you think of what can happen. Is Seth going to show up? Is The Rock going to show up? Is there going to be a Cody heel turn? Let me know your thoughts, and we'll see what happens. Obviously, I will likely do a review of the event after and see the results and see what the aftermath is. But anyway, take care. I hope you enjoyed this video. Drop a like on it and subscribe to the channel. That'd be very much appreciated. And I shall see you again. Take care. Hopefully it's a good weekend.